Hello, I'm Zawadzka, and I am a biochemistry student at Jagiellońskim University. Now, I want you to picture this. You feel perfectly healthy and full of life. Then suddenly, you're diagnosed with a very aggressive type of cancer that was once rare in young adults, but now it's spreading like wildfire. This isn't science fiction. It's the reality of the 21st century. That's why I'm here today, to shed light on this alarming trend and share vital knowledge that could save young lives. Let's delve into these key topics. First, I will discuss what early-onset cancer is and why it is becoming more common. Then we will go through the most prevalent types, the causes of this phenomenon, the hereditary cancer syndrome, and most importantly, whether we can do anything to prevent it. Early-onset cancer is a term that is used by doctors for those that are affected by cancer between 20 and 50 years of age. Contrary to that, later onset cancer is used for those that are at least 50 years old. Of course, not every type of cancer is fatal, but survivors are repeatedly faced with long-term health problems such as infertility, cardiovascular disease, or even secondary cancer. And a secondary cancer is a cancer that's spreading from one organ to another. Since the research is at its initial stages, it's hard to tell whether early and later onset cancer differ. There are some pathological and clinical changes found, but they are still unclear and uninterpretable for the scientists. And speaking of this rising phenomenon, I would like to show you a graph. Since 1990s, there have been a rise in detection for early onset cancer, and it affects even those that are only 20 years old, so basically at the beginning of their adult life. And this research was done on a group of countries that are called G2O countries. This consists of 19 sovereign countries, for example, the USA or Brazil, with 2 regional organizations, European and African Union. It's also vital to remember that cancer in any organ is not a homogeneous entity, and it is caused by a wide range of factors. And that takes me to the potential causes. The first one, that I think is the only positive one, is the fact that there are more free screening programs funded in some countries. But that could only explain the rise for breast, prostate, and thyroid cancer. Colorectal and pancreatic cancer cannot be detected by screening. Thus, it's not the only explanation. The second 2 ones are correlated with each other. People have been exposed to some risk factors, or there was a change in exposure, for example, in lifestyle. Since 1950s, there was a rise in later onset cancer detection, and that could mean that there were some accumulated cellular alterations that led to this weird phenomenon. Epigenetic alterations means uterine exposures, and there are plenty of studies done that links mother's health to the child's well-being. For example, prenatal food restriction could lead to the development of coronary heart disease or even breast cancer. So it's very important for the child to receive its much-needed nutrients. Maternal obesity is also linked with offspring chances of getting colorectal cancer. There's also an association between birth weight and colon cancer. A higher birth weight could mean that there are some problems with early life growth factors, such as insulin growth factor, and that could influence cell proliferation. A lower birth weight is associated with metabolical and immune system problems. It's also, I think, pretty obvious that our lifestyle has changed since the 20th century, and Western diet has become more common. It consists of sweet beverage intake, low vitamin D intake, processed and red meat, lack of fruits and vegetables, and most importantly, lack of fiber in our diet. It's also no secret that the world's climate is changing and the pollution is at its highest levels now. As I mentioned, fiber as one of the potential causes for cancer development, I would like to stop there and speak about microbiome more. 8 out of 14 types of cancer that I'm going to show you on the next slide are related to the digestive system. And both oral and intestinal. Microbiome is also said to have a major pathogenic role, and that also links with the fact that more and more adolescents are diagnosed with inflammatory bowel disease. And since digestive systems is connected to our immune system, antibiotics are also proven to weaken our immune system. Germline genetic variations are associated with early onset cancer only. This could mean that there was a rise in low penetrance versions of genes. So, in other words, the ones that are making us less resistant to mutation. They could make young people more susceptible to developing a digestive system cancer. Here are 14 types of cancer that are rising in detection, and some of them have more specific potential causes. I would like to mention breast cancer again. The potential cause for that could be nulliparity, which is a medical term that scientists use for a person that has never given birth, oral contraceptive, but that is also connected to our microbiome again, and older age at first birth. Interestingly, in the USA, Afro-American women tend to be diagnosed earlier with breast cancer. Talking about microbiome again, colorectal cancer could be influenced by high adulthood body mass index or even diabetes type 2. All this information leave a very important question. Can cancer be inherited? The fact that your loved one was diagnosed does not necessarily need to mean that you're also about to be, but you could be at a higher risk if the mutation was passed down. There are some tests available that require blood or saliva as a sample, but they are not designed to detect every type of cancer that ever existed. Only 8 of them. There are 3 possible results. Positive one means that a harmful mutation was found, but we don't need to worry now that much, at least, because that does not mean that this person is diagnosed with a cancer at its terminal stage. They could be at a higher risk for developing one. Negative one means that there wasn't any harmful mutation found, but this person could still be at risk for developing a type of cancer that was not part of this test. VUS means that there was some mutation found, but right now there is limited information about it, so it's recommended to see a doctor. Since I've been talking only about negative things, we need to ask ourselves if we can do anything to lower our chances of getting a cancer. It's never too late to make some diet changes, and maybe go to the gym more, of course. But it's also crucial to remember that alcohol and cigarette addiction are scientifically proven to higher our chances of getting a cancer. They put the addicted ones at even 60% higher risk. Some chronic diseases are also meaningful for cancer development, such as heart diseases or even neurological ones. It's important to spread awareness amongst those that could be in danger for the cancer. To sum everything up, it's never too late to make some positive change, and let's just follow the research, because even a year from now, there could be a scientific breakthrough. Of course, we don't need to worry that much, because we need to remember that cancer can affect anyone, anytime. But it's not a death sentence. It's a battle that many overcome. It's important to also think about our health, and hopefully some of you will walk away with the thought that nothing in this world is more valuable than our health. Thank you.